I was going to do a video about attention spans, but I decided I really can't really go anywhere with that. And instead, I'm going to do a review of the movie Steve McQueen, Bullitt, a fantastic film, really truly a classic action movie from the late 60s. Came out in 68. I'm not going to go all into the film or anything like that, but I'm just going to tell you some of my favorite parts that I really enjoyed. And Steve McQueen's character overall, in my opinion, is a very sort of a one-note character. He's always the same kind of beat throughout the film. Now, it worked for its day. I don't think that type of character would work in a modern film, but that's irrelevant. I think more importantly, the points when he deviates from that one note is really where the movie shines, really truly. Robert Vaughn's character, the senator, is a very, very fantastically played by, of course, Robert Vaughn. And really, he's kind of an asshole throughout the whole film. I mean, he really is just a big douchebag and just a classic, political scumbag type character. And you basically, he's just set up for you to hate him automatically. And there really is no redemption for his character either. Not at all. But yeah, the points where Steve McQueen or Bullitt or Frank Bullitt, whatever you want to call it, where he's not that one note is, I think, some of the best parts of the film. My favorite section of the film is probably the last quarter of the film, when they're in the airport and they're hunting for the real Ross or whatever, and and he's doing the chase through the airport, and my favorite part of the whole film overall has to be the ending. And the ending, and there's a point in the film kind of after he gets his girlfriend Jacqueline Bisset to take him to this motel to search for this lady who's his only other lead that he has on the case that he's working on. And he shows up, and inadvertently she is murdered, unfortunately. And his girlfriend comes in, who brought him. She was waiting out in the car, by the way. And she runs in the motel and, what's going on, or whatever. And, she walks in the murder scene and sees the body. And then it shows them leaving, and it shows them pulling off on, like a rest area, stopping area in the car on the way back. And, she's asking him, how can you do this? How can you be this type of person to do this for a living and see bodies and murders and shootings and all this stuff? How can you do it? And he doesn't really answer, at least, not in the way I think that really says anything about it. But at the end of the film, after he kills the guy, he does the chase through the airport, through the airfield and all that stuff. It's the end of the night. He's going home, and he shows up to the house. Jacqueline Bisset's at the house in her Porsche, her yellow Porsche. He walks up the stairs. She's laying in bed, sleeping. And he takes off his jacket and his gun, and he puts it on like the banister. He goes up the stairs to the apartment. He puts it on the banister and goes in the bathroom, and he's like going to wash his face. And it focuses back on the gun. And you get this sense of that he's probably done with being a cop. He solved the big case. This is what he wanted to do. But I think after this it's done, and you really get a sense of the true humanity of the character in that moment, I think, versus sort of that one note kind of rhythm that he had throughout the rest of the film. Overall, a fantastic picture. If you've never seen it, I really recommend it. Is it my favorite Steve McQueen film? Probably not. I would say probably The Great Escape is probably my favorite film of his. I do like the setup there better. I do like the picture as a whole better than Bullitt. But Bullitt is a fantastic. And another great thing about the film I just thought about is it's fantastic from the aspect of just the 60s. So many films... Well, I don't want to say that because, my knowledge of 60s films and what I've seen isn't that hugely extensive. But I will say Bullitt does a fantastic job of sort of showing the 60s for what it truly was. And, and also the city of San Francisco in the 60s. It really kind of shows not just the hippie side of San Francisco or Haight-Ashbury, which is, when you think of late 60s San Francisco, and you look that up, 9 times out of 10, it's always, hippies. And there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, the city is hugely associated with that, particularly the late 60s. But, there were other sides. There were normal people who worked jobs, and, the guy worked at the gas station or the car wash or, down at the bank. And, he would go home. He would stop on his way home at the little corner store and pick up some milk and eggs for the wife for the morning or whatever. There were people living normal, regular lives, at the time. And, this movie portrays that very well. It really shows that. It shows that a lot of characters come in and out, and background actors and things like that. It shows, it shows the 60s for what it really was, what it is and what it was, which is, it wasn't just hippies and, peace and love, which was fine and great and all that stuff. But there was also just regular people living their lives and going to work and paying bills and, all that kind of stuff. And from that aspect, it's fantastic. It really shows, the 60s for what it was. Anyway, peace out, stay tuned. I thought it would be interesting to do kind of a movie review because I watched this and I got so excited about watching it that I thought I would share with you guys. Anyway, peace out.